All right, welcome back. Just got back from our first hot tenting experience. Caitlin, what did we learn?
Layers, layers, layers.
And double check the layers that your kids bring. A lot of times they're insufficient. Like we told the kids, hey, it's going to get down to 10 degrees at night. What did Eli pack to sleep in?
Shorts.
Shorts. Did you pack a stocking cap?
Nope.
Nope. So double check your layers, double check your kids' layers, make sure everything's all set there.
That was part of the reason though that we did it in the backyard. So if stuff didn't go accordingly, we could run back to the house and get it figured out.
And we did have to run back to the house for that one, but at least we had that ability. So always double check what your kids are wearing. Second one, firewood. There's an old saying, if you think your firewood pile is enough, double it. Well,
or triple.
Yeah. We ended up running out of firewood in the middle of the night. Well, not the middle of the night, towards the morning. And if the fire hadn't gone out, we probably would have ran out of firewood earlier and probably been out cutting wood at 3 in the morning to try and get the tent heated back up. So more firewood. Third thing we learned, when you're camping in the winter and you're trying to cook, everything takes longer to cook outside.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Even if you have a decent fire started.
Yeah, and we did have a decent fire, but I put a big cold frying pan on it. Immediately sapped all the heat out of the coals. So should have preheated the pan, should have done a couple things differently, but everything takes longer outside to cook.
When you say preheating the pan, you mean put it on the wood stove, right?
No, I could have. So normally you want to cook over coals only, but before I broke the fire down to expose more coals, I could have just set that pan on top of the fire, let it heat up, and then break the fire down, try and cook over it. So that would have allowed me to get more heat to the pan to start off with right away without sacrificing the fire or the coals.
Or you can put it on the wood stove.
Yeah, but we don't have the burger mess inside.
Well, no, you don't put the burgers on it, you just put the pan on it.
Oh, you're talking about preheating the pan in the stove, on the wood stove. Yeah, that would have worked too. What's the fourth thing?
Everything gets wet.
Everything gets wet, very wet. The floor gets wet, your clothes get wet.
Okay.
Everything a kid wears gets wet.
It gets wet by the door.
Yeah, unless you track it in.
And you got if you have to bring kids or pets, it's going to get tracked in everywhere, which we had both. So you can imagine there was snow everywhere.
So everything gets wet. Have spares, have ability to dry stuff. Next time we'll have hopefully have some sort of clothesline inside.
We had a halfway decent drying ability. It wasn't ideal, but we were able to dry stuff while we were in there with the wood stove.
Yep.
We would definitely do it differently next time, but it wasn't like we were standing there and soaking stuff.
Fifth thing we learned was utilizing water-resistant outer layers. Like this sweatshirt, for example, is cotton, so it absorbs water. This jacket is going to shed more snow. Ethan had gloves that were thick and insulated. However, once they got wet, they stayed wet, and they were a pain to dry because they didn't have an outside water-resistant layer on them.
These gloves are great because they're insulated, and then they have like a rubber coating on the outside, so they keep your hands warm and dry.
Yep. So when he was cutting wood, the amount of snow he had was melting and soaking into the gloves. So definitely something to improve on next time. Next thing we learned was cold affects everything. Now, obviously, we know when it's cold out that water freezes. We didn't expect water that was sitting on the floor of the tent to start freezing. Electronics, batteries get zapped very quickly, which anybody who lives in the snow areas already knows that. But
because your cell phones die really quickly.
Yeah,
the next thing would be washing dishes.
Washing dishes sucks to begin with. Then you factor in that the water's kind of cold. You either have to be outside or have to worry about having the mess inside the tent, and it sucks even more.
Well, the water is already really cold just because of the air temperature, and then you either have to heat it up so it's tolerable for your hands, or you have to wash dishes in cold water, which makes it harder to clean any food off of whatever you're cooking with or eating off of.
Yep. So we were talking next time going more one-pot meals, making it easier to do dishes because there's less dishes.
Well, that, and then the type of dish, if it's more liquidy, it's less likely to stick to the pan, and it would be easier to just wipe out and then rinse it.
Yep. Also, along with that too, avoiding fatty, greasy things. Like,
That's the best.
I know, but cleaning a cast iron pan of bacon or hamburger is harder than wiping out a pot.
Well, some things are just worth it.
Yeah. Next thing we learned, and it makes a lot of sense, but we didn't expect it. Floor of the tent is always cold.
Yeah.
It's crunchy too from the snow underneath it. Even if you shovel, there's still some there. But we didn't realize how cold the floor was going to be.
Thought the wool socks were going to be enough, but it just zapped right through the wool socks.
Yeah.
After experiencing that, did a little bit of research, and people wear these like tent booties or slippers that have some sort of soft sole to them.
And they're made out of something similar to what this jacket is.
Well, there's those, and then there's just like the wool slippers with like a leather bottom.
Yeah. The last thing we learned, just how much fun you can have.
Yeah.
We were cold. We didn't sleep well. Fire went out. Some things were a pain. Water froze. All of us, all four of us, had a blast. A lot of fun. Even though some things were a bit of a struggle, it was still a lot of fun.
It's all about the perspective and, you know, how you want the experience to go. Just
Right.
because things aren't going perfectly doesn't mean you still can't have fun.
Also comes down to having a positive attitude about it too.
Good old-fashioned positive attitude.
Yeah. All right. Join us on the next one.